Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back to the next movie review. I'm still kicking it off, with a series of movie reviews for this year of 2025. So, been reviewing pretty much comedies right now. So, maybe it's coincidence though, but yeah, because I have another one after this. So, yeah, but keep it up so far. And so now reviewing this film. I remember watching it a couple of times when I was a kid, though, right? Because this came out in 2002. But I remember watching it a couple of times after this one came out, And I think it was, watching it again, I think it's I don't love the movie, though. I think it's still, like, a harmless, okay movie, You still get, because one of the stars, I think is easily the best part, I can watch it for him, though. Because he's a good actor, by the way. But anyway, the film we're reviewing is of the 2002 comedy film, or family comedy if you want to put it that way, Big Fat Liar. So yeah, Big Fat Liar, that stars Frankie Muniz from the TV show Malcolm in the Middle. And like I said, the best part of this film, I would say, is also because it stars Paul Giamatti, which he's I would say, relishing the role in this movie as your villain. Basically as this scumbag movie producer. And also you got Amanda Bynes from Nickelodeon, from, Nickelodeon's All That and stuff, right? Which, by the way, I think, it's been, it was a few years ago, and even back in, like, from 2012 to 2014, She got into some trouble. I think she got DUI and substance abuse and stuff like that. I mean, and I think also there was a couple of things she did was from 2022 and last year last year. Getting confused. I'm still thinking I'm 2024 here. In 2023. So I don't know of all the stuff that she was involved in or did shit, so. But if there's, like I said, Paul Giamatti, he's the best part of the movie. He's definitely a lot of fun in this film. I mean, Frankie Muniz and Amanda Bynes, I think they're okay. I mean, Frankie Muniz, I mean, they're both. I mean, I've seen a lot worse. Like the time these actors around that age, I've seen worse. I mean, for instance, Jaden Smith, he's pretty much one of the top of the list for me. These two are much better than I would still pick either over Jaden Smith, definitely. I mean, so those kids at this time around the teenage age, I'm trying to say. So, but and the film is directed by Shawn Levy. If anyone know recently, Shawn Levy, he's a guy who directed the Night at the Museum movies. He directed the Ryan Reynolds film Fall Guy. No. Was it Fall Guy? No, it was what was it? It was called Guy, Damn it. Now it's gonna drive me crazy just by looking it up now. God damn it. Free Guy, that's what it was. Not Fall Guy. I'm getting confused with the last year action film Fall Guy. Yeah, it was Free Guy. There you go. So he directed that film, Free Guy. And then and then of course, if everyone wrote recently about Shawn Levy, he directed Deadpool and Wolverine. Yeah. Oh, and also forgot to mention, a film that I did not like was with Hugh Jackman. He directed Real Steel, which I did not like, because for one thing, one of the main things I don't like is I did not like Hugh Jackman's character. The moment he tried selling his own son for money, instantly that made me not like his character in that movie. Because it shows what a scumbag he is, because he tried selling his son for money, I did not like Real Steel anyway, so. But Shawn Levy, he directs that, but then Deadpool and Wolverine. So, years before, if anyone who's a fan of Deadpool and Wolverine, yeah, years before, this is one of his early work. He directed Big Fat Liar from 2002. And looking at this now, at the credits though, guess will help do the story and write the screenplay for this. I mentioned this before when I talked about the Merry Christmas Drake and Josh special. The screenplay and who also co-wrote the story as well, who did the story and the screenplay, Dan Schneider. Yes, Dan Schneider, who created the series of Drake and Josh, iCarly, yeah, those shows. And I mentioned before what a scumbag Dan Schneider is. I mentioned all the stuff that he's done behind the scenes of those during making those shows. Yeah, fuck Dan Schneider. Dan Schneider, he's a piece of shit, like I said. But I mentioned because he did the screenplay for this, and he helped along with Brian Robbins, who was also a director as well, who helped do the story for this. Screw Dan Schneider. He's a scumbag anyway. So, but Shawn Levy, yeah. But overall, yeah, I still like the movie. I still think it's still a harmless time waster of a movie. I mean, the film was given a mixed reception. It has a 5.59 IMDb. It has a 45% Rotten Tomatoes. But the best part of the film, I say, is easily Paul Giamatti. So okay, the story is you have Frankie Muniz, like I said, from Malcolm in the Middle, and I also know he also voiced Stripes from the movie Racing Stripes, the zebra. He's this teenager who basically he's a big fat liar. He lies all the time. He lies to his parents. He lies to everybody. He always like to see this thing where he made his dad pretend his dad was sick and the thing in school. But then he gets caught in his lies, so he's going to probably do summer school. So he gets one last chance to write this paper. He can't think of anything else to write, so he writes a paper about himself, called Big Fat Liar. So on the way, on his way, he's gonna turn in the paper. On the way, he gets run into their car gets hit by this limo. I think it did. And the limo is carrying this big movie producer named Marty Wolf, played by Paul Giamatti. So and he meets with Frankie Muniz, kind of way he tells like Paul Giamatti in a way was kind of like him back when he was a kid. He was kind of like the same thing, right? A liar. And so when they leave, Paul Giamatti sees that he left his paper behind. At first he's like, "Hey, you forgot your paper." At first he was kind of like that, but then he looks at the title and looks through it, and then the bright bulb goes through it. It goes off in his head. He's gonna take this story and make it and turn it into a movie. Which Frankie Muniz, his character's name is Jason, by the way. Jason is not going to get any credit for it because that was his story, though, but he's not going to get the credit for it. So, by the time a little bit, Frankie Muniz sees a teaser trailer for the title, Big Fat Liar. He realized that's his story. So he tries to tell the truth, but nobody doesn't believe him because he's always lying all the time. So when he tries to tell the truth, his parents don't believe him. So he and his friend Amanda Bynes, which by the way I do appreciate that there's no love story between these two. They're just friends. They're just good friends, nothing more. So I do appreciate they didn't force a love story in this as well. So they're just friends. That's all they are. Which I do appreciate that, though. It's a little bit different, though. Instead of a forced romance in this plot in this. So he takes her and they go to Universal Studios. And when they go there, they see like all the Universal properties, right? Like they say they go backstage where the costumes are. Like you do see the costume of Jim Carrey's The Grinch Who Stole Christmas, right? The costume of the Grinch, right? So basically all the seeing the stuff that's Universal property, right? So he goes to see Paul Giamatti and say, "Hey, that's my paper. I deserve the credit, basically." And Paul Giamatti has them thrown out. So he and Amanda Bynes makes his plan to mess with him, basically, for revenge. And along the way, he gets some of these people involved with his plan. One of them is basically a limo driver, and they played by Donald Faison, Faison, which he's known for starring in the TV show Scrubs, which I've seen him in other stuff too before. Donald Faison. He was an actor, but he eventually got put. I guess he was doing that poorly, so he got placed into doing limo driving. And so, of course, the big pranks he does with Paul Giamatti, which is one of the bigger scenes of the movie, where the three of them go to his house and they dump blue dye into his pool, and that's when Paul Giamatti jumps into the pool. That's when he gets, dyed blue, right? And of course, during that scene, we have the song playing, Duran Duran's "Hungry Like the Wolf," because his last name is Paul Giamatti's character. His last name is Wolf, so it's like, hey, this guy thing, and I'm hungry like the wolf, which has always been a good song, by the way. I always enjoy that song. And they put this orange dye in his shampoo, so when he puts it on, and his hair. And then where he looks in the mirror, he goes and screams, this scene right here, "Oh my god!" And also they mess with his car too as well. And they give him the wrong address to this other guy who works in Hollywood, but it's the wrong house. Turns out it's a kid's birthday party, and the kids think that he's the clown, and so they kind of beat the shit out of him, So. And that's when his car starts getting fucked up because they messed with it. And there's this big huge guy in a monster truck, and he drives it and it wrecks his car, Paul Giamatti's car, fucks with his car. And while at the same time you have the Jaws theme playing. Oh, that was nice to hear as well. So, and the thing although Frankie Muniz, his character is a kind of a little bit of naive, I would say, because he thinks all this that he's done to him, he thinks that Paul Giamatti, okay, I'm gonna call your parents and all that stuff. Not really. So Frankie Muniz kind of falls for him the second time, So I'm like, that's kind of your fault. Think all that. You think he's gonna give in and call and apologize? No, because like I said, the second time he does, he tricks his ass again. Where there's this after party where he's announced about his new movie, and like I said, he pretends he's gonna call, but then he ends up getting his ass thrown out again. So yeah, so I'm like, Frankie Muniz, you're a little bit naive. You think he's gonna give up that easily? No. And plus, I wouldn't, and plus it's kind of hard, which I wouldn't buy because he's always a liar all the time, so it's kind of hard to believe him still though. And also, I forgot to mention other cameos they have in this week. You have Jaleel White is in this. Steve Urkel from Family Matters. I mentioned with him because Marty Wolf, Paul Giamatti's character, his films have been bombing, right? And the film that the last one we did with Jaleel White, it bombed, which for good reason because it stars Jaleel White where he's a cop and his partner is a chicken. So I wonder why that film flopped, Although I do appreciate some of the ideas, like a movie within a movie. It was kind of like in the Blob, the remake of the Blob, that horror movie the people are seeing in the theater was kind of like this slasher take on Jason, right? So it's a movie within a movie, right? It was kind of cool to see stuff like that. See a movie made within a movie, or like in the Home Alone movies, the angels with filthy souls, right? Those are fake movies, so movie within a movie, right? But I don't blame why that film flopped because Jaleel White and his partner is a chicken. No wonder this guy's films are bombing. But he thinks that this is the one the Big Fat Liar movie is going to be the one that's going to save his career, which, You know what happens a lot. I know a lot of times with directors, they have flops up when they come back and they make big movies. You know, and it's kind of like the realistic thing, and for these big time directors. Well, Paul Giamatti, he's not the director. He's the producer though. But the director, the guy, another cameo in this, who's directing the movie Big Fat Liar, is John Cho. I completely forgot that John Cho was in this before. You know, the Harold and Kumar movies, or where he later played Sulu in the rebooted Star Trek series, or my favorite movie of his, which I love, and that is Searching. I love that film, Searching. You know, I think that's an underrated movie of that. You know, with John Cho. I love Searching. That's an underrated movie. Check out Searching. You will not be disappointed. That is a criminally underrated movie. But yeah, hey, I forgot that John Cho is in this. He's in this as the movie director who's going to direct the Big Fat Liar movie. And you also have Lee Majors. Lee Majors, who starred from the TV shows like $6 Million Man. What was that movie? Big Valley. It was a Western series. Oh, and I mentioned Fall Guy because I got confused with Free Guy. Fall Guy, the TV show Fall Guy, which Lee Majors starred in, which that later, last year, that became the movie with Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt, the Fall Guy movie. Yeah, so speaking of Fall Guy, yeah, Lee Majors, he will also star in the TV show The Fall Guy. He's in this as a stunt coordinator. So you have these cameos. It's cool to see, you know, these cameos, you know. Sandra Oh, she's also in this as well as well. So then later, the get to the finale of this. After that, he has hatched this one big plan now, which, by the way, by the third act, excuse me. Now that by this time, Paul Giamatti has the dye wiped off of him now, because the last thing we see is, oh, it's time to get it on, right? Then the next scene, he doesn't have the dye on him now. Either he washed that up pretty quickly, because I thought that stuff didn't come off that easily. But anyway, so the plan commenced where Donald Faison is driving Paul Giamatti. Part of the plan is that the limo is supposedly having car trouble. It's not, but it's fake. And then Jaleel White pops up to give him the ride. And he's starting to go crazy, right? So Paul Giamatti jumps out of the car. And then Lee Majors comes in to pick him up in a helicopter. And then they have to parachute down, because supposedly the helicopter's having trouble, but it's not. So they parachute down, and then he ends up Paul Giamatti ends up getting a foot chase with Frankie Muniz. And also, along with Bynes for a little bit of for the foot chase. And this where they're running up, they're going to run up this hill, and Paul Giamatti's like, "You can't outrun the wolf, kid!" And then he gets washed by water. But then it's him and Frankie Muniz. They're on top of the roof, and so they're saying, like, they basically this time where now he confesses to Frankie Muniz, say, "You write a story, I steal it, and I'm about to shoot the greatest movie of my career. Yes, I stole it. I stole Jason Shepard's story and turned it into Big Fat Liar." You know who's listening? No one. But it turns out that John Cho and everyone else there, they filmed the whole confession, and now Paul Giamatti is out of the business now. Which Frankie Muniz jumps off the roof, lands on those big inflatable things to cushion your fall. Tells that he now earned his parents' trust again. So now everyone walks away from Paul Giamatti. Basically, later on, he's fired now because he's working as a clown. But before that, everyone watches at the big movie premiere of the movie. This was Frankie Muniz got his credit, you know, story by Jason Shepard. And then it cuts to him now. Paul Giamatti now is working as a clown now, and the birthday party is the kid who is the son of the guy in that big monster truck, because the father is like recognizes him, is like, "Oh my god," and he's like, "Oh no," and then the guy goes and tells his son, "Show him the Nutcracker," and then the kid goes and jumps and kicks Paul Giamatti in the nuts. And then it ends with a song which I haven't heard in a long time. It's like, can you move it like this? I can shake it like that. I haven't heard that probably since this movie. I haven't seen this movie in forever. It's been a long time since I heard that song, you know. Can you move it like this? I can shake it like that, you know. So, but overall, you know, I still like the movie. I don't like. Well, the thing is, I don't watch it. I don't watch it as much as I used to. But watch it again. It's still a harmless time waster of a movie, though. Like I said, Paul Giamatti, he's the best, easily the best part of the movie. He's definitely relishing at being the guy who's basically a scumbag of a film producer. You know, that's what basically I could best describe his character. You know, but it's also Frankie Muniz. You know, it's kind of his fault because, you know, being naive though, because he gets his ass tricked twice by Paul Giamatti. I'm like, you don't think, especially the second time, you think he was not going to give up that easily? No. But until he hatches the whole plan, so. But yeah. But I think Frankie Muniz, I think he still did fine. Amanda Bynes too. I mean, like I said, they're not the best actors, but they weren't the worst. But they weren't not the worst either. Like I said, for example, like I've seen what's worse, like the teenage actress back then. Jane Smith pretty much is number one I can think of, you know. But Paul Giamatti was easily the best part. He did a really fun job. You could tell he was really having a ball playing this role. He was definitely chewing it up, you know, or hamming it up. You can say. So the cameos, like seeing, it was cool to see John Cho in this. Jaleel White, Lee Majors, Donald Faison as well. So, yeah. But Big Fat Liar, you know, it's like it's still I'll say it's still worth a watch, you know, for a first time, you know. But I think Shawn Levy. I think he did fine. He's not one of the best directors for me though, but I did enjoy Deadpool and Wolverine though. If anyone's interested, I did enjoy Deadpool and Wolverine. Yes, I did. But the Big Fat Liar though, I still had a little bit of fun with the movie. Like I said, Paul Giamatti is easily the best part. You can't outrun the wolf, kid. Yeah, he definitely relishes at being like that. That's the snobby, snot-nosed movie producer. You know, that's what he is. He's kind of like a snobby, snot-nosed punk, basically. But yeah, Big Fat Liar. It's still worth a watch, you know. Yeah, it's still harmless, like a family comedy, you know. Still is. But anyway, that's Big Fat Liar. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next movie review, and we'll see you next time. Later.